Hello and welcome. I am Xelite and this is my channel. And today I'm going to tell you a story about someone who was a bystander at a murder and how she came face to face with the murderer just moments after he killed somebody, and the fact that he did something so disturbing is going to be hard to get out of your mind. So let's get started, shall we? A woman who was walking on a Nashville trail when 34-year-old Alyssa Lockitts was shot and killed shared that the alleged killer spoke to her only moments after the murder, and then he stayed behind and watched the police work on that scene. Shannon Howard, who is a Nashville native and frequent visitor of the Mill Creek Greenway, described being on the trail on October 14th, the day that Lockitts, who was a Vanderbilt graduate, was murdered, and her encounter with the alleged killer, Paul Park. So she's quoted as saying, "So I usually go for a walk in the evenings on the Greenway. There's usually a lot of people biking, walking, running, taking their kids, taking their pets, and on that particular day, I delayed my walk by about 15 minutes, but I still pushed myself to get out of the door. While she was on the trail, she came across Lockitts, who she said was laying on the ground in a fetal position. The woman, Shannon Howard, said that chaos ensued as people began gathering around, and they were frantically calling 911 and urging first responders to get to their location as fast as possible. She said that she kept her distance and she didn't realize that Lockitts had been shot. Howard then made her way back to her car because it was getting late, and her then fiance, now husband, didn't like her to be on the trail alone at night. Once she reached her car, she said that there were several police cars with lights on, crime scene tape was being set up, but she knew a way back out of the park that didn't have to go through all that. She's quoted as saying, "I turned and went up to a neighborhood that I wasn't completely familiar with, but I knew there was an outlet at the very back of that neighborhood that went onto the Greenway." She said that as she did that, a gray car pulled up next to her and rolled down the window, kind of slow riding next to her. She looked over and he said, "Do you know what happened?" And she responded, "I'm not, completely sure what happened. Somebody got really hurt though." Then she went on to say, "And so he kind of comes up to me, smiled, and he's still kind of riding next to me. I got a very good look at him, and he was still trying to talk to me, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go on home." So she said, "Well, hopefully everything will be okay." She put her headphones on, and he kind of rode with her a little bit longer, slowly next to her, and continued to try and talk to her and ask what was going on. He even smiled at her. She said that she felt uneasy and cut the conversation short, and then finally, he abruptly left. She said it wasn't until she got home that she was struck with the magnitude of what had transpired on that trail. Just quoted as saying, "Well, later on, when I saw them bringing him out of the police car after they had arrested him, he had on sunglasses, so I thought, wow, that guy really looks like the one who stopped me." And then when she saw his mugshot, she said she dropped her phone because she was scared, nervous, anxious. And she said, "My God, that was him." She's quoted as saying, "He was trying to talk to me and he wanted to know what happened. And it was almost like there was a light in his eyes when he was talking to me. And it made me kind of nauseous, to be honest with you." She said that she had a gut feeling and an instinct that something was off with this man, this jovial, inquisitive man who slowly followed her. She said, "I knew he was talking to me, trying to find out, whatever I knew. And that instinct of, okay, I'm just going to go home kind of kicked in. And that's what I did. But it was absolutely because of him." She was also quoted as saying that she looked back at this fact that Park had allegedly stood around to watch the whole scene unfold and even smiled about it. And that fact enraged her. There was no feeling there. It was almost like he was proud because he wanted to stick around and see all the police cars. In the last moments of her life, all she knew was fear, and that enraged me that he had the audacity to do that, but then also to smile and smirk about it and try to talk to me or engage somebody to get more details, and he was proud of it. That's the impression I got. That creepy man, the man who smiled at her, was asking her questions. The question I would have is, was he out looking for another victim? She went on to say, he took a very beautiful girl who had, I'm sure, a wonderful future ahead of her, and he had no right to do that. He didn't have to shoot her. He didn't have to do any of that. And the anger still resonates with me. Howard said the Mill Creek Greenway is a serene, roughly 3-mile stretch of trail that people enjoy and is usually busy with parents and kids and a lot going on. However, she said the second half of the trail is very overgrown with trees. There's no surveillance cameras and there's no lights. She mentioned that there is even a sign that says the Greenway is closed at dusk. She was quoted as saying, he's not going to stop us from going on our walks. He's not going to stop us from being on the Greenway. He doesn't get to win this one. And I think everybody around our neighborhood, all the families, we're not going to let him or anybody like him scare us away. He's a monster. I mean, a monster. And that's what he is. He's a coward, her alleged killer. I don't know what to do. You know, he must be judged by a judge and jury, but he's a coward and he's a monster. And we've had enough. Nobody should feel unsafe on such a beautiful pathway or national parks or mountains or anywhere. But this man, I don't think this man was ready to stop that day. I think her gut feeling might have saved her life. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this. And if you are not subscribed, please do so. And please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. Good night, and thank you for coming.